Take this time to thank the YWCA for sponsoring the Northwest Women's Hall of Fame celebration and the dedicated work of this steering committee for organizing this sterling event. My response to this honor you have bestowed upon me is one of shock and awe. Shock that I was even considered amongst the many noted women we have in our community, and awe at the group of impressive women in which I find myself in the outpouring of support and love that I have been receiving since being notified of this honor. Excuse me, I tend to do this. Always have. For that, I humbly thank you. I would not be standing here today if it were not for the support of my husband, Doug. For the past 24 years, he has encouraged me to go forth and do good, even though I may be gone for 3 weeks to a month each time I was deployed to a national disaster. God knows what he was doing while I was gone. He could probably wait to pack my bag. Doug started supporting my volunteer lifestyle when we were courting in Seattle. In the 70s, I was working for the Seattle-King County Council of Campfire Girls, and it was called Campfire Girls then. One weekend, I was coordinating an event for the Horizon Clubs in the Seattle Science Center. The theme was conservation. I had set up a booth to play a tape about littering. On the tape was the song, lit about, shame on you, and so on, or something like that. And I coerced Doug into volunteering to run the booth. All day long, he had to play this damn tape. Over and over again. I figured anyone who could put up with that had what it takes to put up with me. The American Red Cross Disaster Service has always meant a lot to me. And our Mount Baker chapter has always supported people who have been willing to give of their time. God, why do I do this? I'm sorry. I hurried up to go potty so I wouldn't have to. Anyway, back to the Red Cross volunteers. Many of these outstanding and skilled volunteers are with us today. And in fact, they are my family. I have no family in Bellingham. My closest family lives down in Los Angeles, and one is studying in Florence. So I am here with my family, the Grangers at the Red Cross. Let's see. Okay, one of these wonderful women that is so skilled and gives so much of their time to the Red Cross, you've all honored in the past, and that is Noriko Lau. Noriko. I also want to recognize the Executive Director of the Red Cross chapter, Maureen Enegren. Maureen and I became involved in the chapter in the same year, 1985. She is paid staff and I is a volunteer. We both worked ourselves up through the ranks. Last year, Maureen was honored as Businesswoman of the Year. So, Maureen, thank you for being here today. We're all concerned about the future of the American Red Cross. All the catastrophic disasters that have been occurring each year takes a tremendous toll on the lives of people and the ability of the Red Cross to meet all of those needs. People are not able to give as they have in the past, and more importantly, corporations and businesses are having to cut back. What does the future hold? We just don't know, but we all have to work at making it work, because no matter what happens, Red Cross must respond. We are chartered by Congress in 1905 to do that very thing. Doug and I became members of the Rome Grange in 1979. We had just moved to Whatcom County and were building a home on the Nooksack River in Demi. Our neighbors had joined the Grange, and I decided that it would be a good way to get acquainted and to get involved in the county. It is through, this is my little note to myself, it is through my involvement in Grange that I became associated with then State Representative Pete Kremen. He was new, fairly new in the House of Representatives, and Rome Grange had written a letter concerned about the accidents along Mount Baker Highway going down, school buses going down to Harmony School. So we had written to him and asked him to consider putting a left-hand turn lane in the middle of Mount Baker Highway, and they asked me to head that up. So Pete and I became acquainted at that time, and get this, guys, within 3 months that lane was put in. Thank you, Pete Kremen. You may not know anything about the Grange, but all of you have benefited from either national, state, or county Grange programs. One of them being the left-hand turn lane on Mount Baker. The National Grange was organized in 1867 following the Civil War to get the North and the South to work together to feed our country through a program espousing brotherhood and cooperation. It is primarily a nonpartisan fraternal organization that lobbies for the rights of farmers and the improvement of life in the rural areas. No, I'm not a farm girl. But the other program that they have is community service, and that I do. Even before women had the right to vote in 1920, the Grange gave women equal status in the organization and supported legislation for women's rights in the polls. Grange women were instrumental in developing home economics program that many of us knew in public schools. Last April, 2008, Rome Grange celebrated its 100-year anniversary, and I invite you all to come to the Rome Grange breakfast the first Sunday of every month, and Pete and I will serve you, because that's what we do the first Sunday of every month. It is truly a place where friends and family meet. And in closing, I have another paragraph. All of our agencies have shrinking resources. We all must work together as partners to meet the ever-growing demands, such as the YWCA provided housing for a couple of our victims that had lost their homes in a fire. And it is that kind of partnership that we all must enjoy. And to make it work in the future as the dollar shrinks, let's all hold hands and be partners together. Together we can shock them, and how awesome that would be. Thank you. Just be nice in our living room.